this morning, the reality came crashing down on me.
Well, interestingly, the price of Brent crude is going down on the global market.
Yeah.
It was somewhere below $90 yesterday. But again, they'll say the city is not doing too well, so yeah, you can't see a decline in the prices of fuel
we are the only ones who
soon.
deregulate, and then the price of the global prices do not reflect locally on
They'll say other factors.
at our pumps.
Other factors.
Other
contributing.
factors. And what's the point of deregulation if other factors?
Yeah,
Some
that's
way,
the reality.
some life. Anyway, we are alive. We're probably in a better position than the coach of Chelsea, who's out of a job. Are you a Chelsea fan?
Yeah, affiliated somewhat,
Hey.
but I try not to get emotionally attached to teams, and so yeah, I'm detached now. So
Then how are you a fan?
I'm detached.
Fanship is an emotional attachment.
I
Full
don't want
stop.
to be. I don't have the heart for this. Seriously,
But
I'm an
your
affiliate.
yes, your more attached fans are very, very confused. Well, some of them are anyway. Others think, yeah, it's about time. But others too think, Charlie,
Give it some time.
Yeah,
Let's-
he just bought players.
Yeah.
Like he just spent some money, and then he's going.
Charlie, when you're desperate for results, that's what happens.
Interesting. It's kind of like imagine there's a job that comes with a car, right? You can buy the car of your choice
Yeah.
to do the job. So you come along and you're like, oh, media, I want a nice Range Rover or whatever. So you go out and buy the car of your choice to do this job, and then they fire you. Now someone else has to come, and he will not get to buy the car of his choice. He has to come and drive the one you chose.
You chose.
But somehow the owner of the job believes that will get better performance out of him.
We wait to see.
Okay. All right. The 6 a.m. news was brought to us by Total Petroleum. Total, we go the extra mile for you. Absa Bank Ghana Limited, helping you find a way to get things done. Ghana Pay, your money your way. And Sanlam, live with confidence. So the Joy Business Report coming up now, thanks to Cal Bank Forward Together and the Glyco Life Travel Insurance. Glyco, we cushion you for life. Now, everyone deserves their dream home, and that's why they're going over to Cal Bank. They can actually take over your mortgage from other financial institutions and give you great terms. For example, you can release equity in the home you already own as a personal loan, okay? Or you could get a facility to complete your partially done house, or just go to them as a first-time home buyer and they will help you buy your dream home. So get a home with Cal Bank Mortgage and call it your own. To learn more, call 0800 500 500, or you can try 056 090 7456, or you can chat with them online on social media and on WhatsApp. You can also email mortgage@calbank.net. Go to calbank.net to know more about their mortgage offers. Let your home be the investment you deserve. Cal Bank, forward together.
Hello, good morning. Welcome to the Joy Business Report. Coming up, Cocoa Board to sign loan agreement with more than 6 banks in Ghana, targeting up to $1.3 billion. Also coming up, oil prices fall below $90, the first time since February 2022. Meanwhile, fuel prices may go down next week if the cedi stabilizes against the US dollar. And new International Monetary Fund mission chief for Ghana wraps up 2 informal visits, paving way for economic program negotiations by the end of the month. Details coming up. My name is Acquah. Thanks for being with us this morning. Cocoa Board is expected to sign the Cocoa Syndicated Loan Agreement this month in Ghana with more than 6 banks. This is what Joy Business has gathered from persons with knowledge of the agreement. George Yaffe has more.
We understand that Cocoa Board is targeting up to $1.3 billion in terms of the facility from the banks. This should mean that when the date is formally announced for signing of the facility with all the banks, the amount agreed could be less. This is despite having lead arrangers that have agreed to pre-finance the entire amount targeted by Cocoa Board. It is not clear for now whether it is the price or the LIBOR the Cocoa Board is expected to pay might be pushing them not to take up the entire amount of $1.3 billion that has been approved by Parliament. For now, we can confirm that 6 banks would act as lead arrangers. That includes Standard Chartered Bank, Rabobank of Holland, Ghana International Bank in London, and French Investment Bank in Athens. The rest are Industrial and Commercial Bank of China and one of Japan's largest bank, that is MUFG. The up to $3 billion is expected to help Cocoa Board finance cocoa purchases for the next crop season. However, the Bank of Ghana would take the dollar cash and give the cedi equivalent to Cocoa Board. These dollars would help the Bank of Ghana stabilize the Ghana cedi going forward. The first tranche of $910 million should come in from next month, with the remaining spread over 3 months.
George, I feel with that report. Now, oil prices are falling below $90 a barrel on the world market following fears of global economic recession. This could cause a reduction in fuel prices at the pumps on September 16 if the trend continues and the local currency stabilizes. Brent crude futures sold at $88 a barrel, falling below the $90 mark for the first time since February 8. Analysts believe the slowing demand for the commodity in Europe, cut in production by OPEC, oil-producing countries, coupled with interest rate hikes by central bank governors, are some of the major factors influencing the fall in oil prices. Meanwhile, energy analyst Dr. Yusuf Suleimana tells Joy Business the failure by OPEC to increase supply of crude oil will affect the pricing of the commodity, forecasting a price of about $90 a barrel for the rest of the year.
With this quantum that they announced, it is not going to have any that much of impact in the market. But generally, as we speak, the market is already hot. And then what we need now is more barrels to be churned out to the market to cool down the market. If you observe, global oil consumption has gone up drastically. We are almost hitting the pre-COVID era, about 99.9, almost 100 million. That is a daily consumption of, global oil consumption. So yes, to the effect that, a player who hitherto could be a force to reckon with, who could shift the balance in terms of the supply-demand dynamics. It is going to have impact on the supply. It's going to still have, that negative impact on the cost. Because what we're expecting is that as OPEC has announced that they were going to release more barrels, sentimentally, it are going to rain some kind of hope into the market.
Dr. Yusuf Suleimana is an energy analyst. So I checked this morning on the commodity market. Crude oil selling at $88 a barrel. Gold also lost $3 to open trading at $1,715 an ounce. Cocoa is trading this morning at $2,350 a ton after dropping by $19 from yesterday's trading. To another top story for you, the new IMF mission chief for Ghana, Stefan Rode, has wrapped up a 2-day informal engagement with government officials. The visit was to afford Mr. Rode an opportunity to touch base with some of the officials that will be working with him during the September ending engagement in preparation of a program with Ghana. The mission chief will be leading the IMF team to negotiate with Ghana's economic program by the end of this month. Mr. Rode ended the engagements by meeting the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison. Some of the engagements centered on Ghana's rising debt stock and what should be done to contain the situation. Mr. Rode also met some civil society groups and Finance Minister Ken Oforiatta on Tuesday. Now, the African Tax Research Network and African Tax Administration Forum have agreed to press governments to rationalize tax incentives regime. The move is aimed at helping members raise more domestic revenue to make up for some projected losses due to the Continental Free Trade Agreement. Executive Secretary of the forum, Logan Watt, spoke to journalists after a short ceremony to close a 3-day congress in Acquah, which was focused on revenue implications of the Continental Free Trade Agreement.
Was the fact that tax incentives signs away huge portions of income. The continental tax incentive losses is more than 3.5% of GDP, of the continent's GDP. And yet we are not doing the cost-benefit analysis of those tax incentives. The proposed global agreement on the taxation of the digital economy is introducing what is called a global minimum tax. That has huge implications for Africa and the likelihood of us giving tax incentives to multinational corporations. Why? Because should this global deal happen, there will be what is called a global minimum tax. That means all companies in the world will have to pay a minimum of 15% tax. So if an African country gives a zero tax to a company, that company will still have to pay tax somewhere.
Logan Watt there, he is Executive Secretary of the African Tax Administration Forum. The National Pensions Regulatory Authority, NPRA, is hopeful the introduction of a new master's program in insurance and pensions will improve licensing among trustees, superintendent over pension schemes in the private sector. According to pensions regulator, it is working with the University of Ghana Business School to make it part of the requirements for some players in the industry. Speaking at an event organized by the business school on the master's program, the director in charge of planning, research, monitoring and evaluation at the NPRA, Owusu-Aboagye, said the proposal to make it mandatory will help in streamlining activities in the industry.
They are required to renew their licenses every year. As part of the process, they are required to undergo some continuing professional development course to enhance their skills as a basis for renewing their license. My hope is that after the business school maybe is running this kind of courses.
You had Director in charge of planning, research, monitoring and evaluation at the NPRA, Owusu-Aboagye. Moving on, the Online Drivers Union of Ghana has expressed dissatisfaction with challenges affecting members across the country. According to Francis Tenge, president of the union, online drivers continue to struggle with concerns related to security, insurance, and high charges on sales. Speaking to Joy Business, he added the current economic challenges have made the situation worse, hence employers must or should consider monthly remuneration.
Most of the drivers don't own the cars. Our car owners buy the cars and then they lease to us on weekly basis, ask for weekly sales or work and pay. Let me touch on the work and pay. The problem we have is that people buy the cars and register it plus insurance, everything, and then they do double the price and give it to the drivers and spread it for a number of 3 or 4 years for the driver to work and pay. That is also too much. It's too much on our side. So should the government come in and subsidize that or regulate that sector for us? It's not good for a young guy to go for a car which should be twice there. Some drivers are doing as much as 90,000 Ghana cedis in 3 years. Others are also doing over 100,000 Ghana cedis, and it's too much also for us. So with the issue of the sector, the dollar and the rest also, I can also say that a time is coming in this country. People cannot afford to buy cars anymore. But the duty at the port is too much.
You had Francis Tenge there. He's president of the Online Drivers Union of Ghana, a group of ride-hailing drivers. Now, government has been urged to establish a development fund to support the Aquaculture for Food and Jobs program. This comes after a revelation that the Ministry of Finance is set to support the program with some funds. According to Sector Minister Mavis Hawakumsen, some feasibility study is ongoing to determine the viability of the program and the amount needed. But speaking on the marketplace on the Joy News channel, Chief Executive of the Chamber of Aquaculture, Jacob Ajika, said there's a need for a self-sustaining fund to ensure the program yields desired results.
We will recommend that the ministry should consider the cooperative business model where a group of young people can come together to form a cooperative, then they can embark on this fish farming initiative that the ministry is providing. With a cooperative model, you can see that those who are not even interested in the production aspect, can also get involved in maybe the marketing and processing aspect. So that is one of the advice we'll give. And we also encourage that the ministry should consider also setting up an aquaculture development fund to support this kind of initiatives in the long term. Because if we don't want to start, then along the way, we'll come out and say that we don't have adequate funds to support the initiative anymore. If it happens, it means it may end up becoming like a waste of resources and time.
That was Chief Executive of the Chamber of Aquaculture, Jacob Azika. And before we go and look at the currency market, the city remains stable for 2 days. It's going for 97 pesos to the dollar. Is however lost marginal grounds to the pound sterling at 11 cedis 44 pesos and the euro going for 9 cedis 87 pesos. More news on our website myjoyonline.com/business. My name is Darryl Carl. Thanks for listening. Here's Kojo Yankson with more of the Super Morning Show.